I don't know what it is about Jack, but these past few months she has been going so crazy. Like, I didn't put her up here by myself, she just climbs up here. She has been going so crazy and I don't know what is going on. Like, her temperatures are completely fine, but I don't know what I'm doing with my dragon, but I guess I'll tell you guys how to take care of them, or at least the basic care. Hey guys, how are you? I am coming at you with a video on the basic care for a bearded dragon. I'm just gonna leave her here because she's actually chilling out. She was not cooperating well with my thumbnail pictures. But anyways, let's get started. I'm already rambling, but hey, welcome to my channel. So before buying a bearded dragon, do as much research as possible. I'm assuming since you're watching this video, you are doing that, or maybe you did what I did and bought a bearded dragon and went, what the hell? Well, it's not as easy as I thought it was gonna be, and are scrambling to research about them. When you first get a bearded dragon, you should take them to the vet just so they can do like a normal checkup, and if you can, possibly give them a stool sample just to make sure everything is all good under the hood. And then on top of that, do a yearly checkup. It's also good to go to the vet to make sure you actually know what the gender is. They are not meant to be cohabited with other bearded dragons, so if you're getting one, make sure you house them alone. If you do want a second one, have a separate tank for them. Minimum tank size you should have is 40 gallons. I know some people say you can get a 20 gallon if you have a baby beardy, but like, I just feel like it's a waste of money because once they turn into once they grow into an adult, you're gonna have to get a bigger tank anyway, so I would just start out with the 40. The standard tank size that is preferred is 75 gallons to 120. Mine is 67, so I am like in the minimum range. Make sure you have ventilation, and I will insert a clip now what I mean. It's pretty much just the top of it is ventilated so they have breathing room. I feel like that's common sense, but I don't know, I could be wrong. The flooring should be carpet, a towel, or newspaper, something like that. Nothing loose, no loose substrate, no sand, no walnut shells. The carpet is easier to clean than a loose substrate. It's just overall healthier for a bearded dragon to be on carpet anyways. As far as what should be in the tank, a good rule of thumb is they need something to climb on, something to hide, and something to bask on. So in my tank, I made like a little thing, I don't know if you see it, I made a little, what is it, a basking spot, and then I have a branch for her to climb on, and then underneath is where she can go to hide. There she goes. And then also decoration rocks are really good for them to help file down their nails. You should have a basking light where the temperature is between 90 to 100 degrees. Anything more than 110 is actually too hot. Honestly, like, your bearded dragon lets you know, like, hey, like, it's too freaking hot in here, like by like glass surfing and wanting out constantly. Or like on the opposite side, if it's too cold, they don't move around, they get really dark. So they're very good at letting you know, but get a temperature gun to help you measure that out. You should get a UVB light that stretches across the tank. It helps them absorb calcium, otherwise they can't really do it on their own. So UVB light is good. And then UVB lights need to be changed. Mine's Reptison and it needs to be changed twice a year. If you get a different brand, it might be something else, but I think standard is twice a year. Food should be no wider than the space between the eyes. I have this wonderful book that I will use for example. It should be no bigger than the space between their eyes right there, otherwise they can choke on it. And then if you have a baby beardy, their primary diet should be of insects and a little bit of greens to incorporate to introduce them in. Juvenile, it should start getting less insects, a little bit more greens. And then as an adult, they should have an 80% diet of greens and a 20% diet of insects. And if you want to know what that is, you can easily Google search it, or I can make a little run through list real quick as I'm talking right now of like all the different greens. I do have a video on foods that I think is good for bearded dragons versus not good. Some of them include crickets, hornworms, superworms, and then the greens. Staple greens should be like collard greens and dandelion greens and mustard greens and all that wonderful stuff. Bearded dragons don't drink water like normal animals, if that makes sense. So the best way for them to get water is to spray their greens, or what I do is I take a little water dish and I just I tap on it so they can see it moving. I've been training Jackie to lap up the water kind of like a dog. She does it in the bathtub, but it's just kind of good practice, and I've actually did see her drink. I'll insert a picture right here. I was like freaking out. I was so excited about that. But anyways, if the water's not moving, they can't see it. That's why it's hard to train them to do that, but they are trainable. People have different opinions about keeping a water dish in the tank versus leaving it out. I personally keep a water dish in the tank because I have a humidity reader that tells me like if it's too humid in it versus if it's perfect. If you don't feel comfortable with that, or if you don't have a humidity reader, you can also spray them twice a day. I did do that before I got one, but as right now I keep one. Like, you can see my tank is pretty big, but I keep it all the way on the cool side with, if you can see the little humidity reader right there, which helps out a lot, and I do recommend you purchase one of those. As far as upkeeping them, they really only need to be bathed once a week. If she's shedding, I bathe her multiple times just because it kind of helps make the shedding process easier for them. And then far as tank upkeep, you should do spot checks every day for like poop and just food debris that's in their tank. And then I do a quick like run through with like rinsing off everything once a week, and then I think every couple of months or even longer, I will do a full-blown tank clean out with bleach solution and stuff. If you want to see what that's like, I do have a video on that. As far as having a bearded dragon, if you have one or if you're gonna get one, the main thing that you should do is at least handle them for 15 minutes a day at the minimum, because it helps make them become more sociable. And especially if you don't have your tank out in the middle of the living room like I do, if you have it somewhere more private where they don't see a lot of people activity, it is very good just to bring them out, say hello to everybody, let them interact with other people and yourself, because it helps them form bonds with not only you but anybody else who's in your household. And even though they are considered to be like one of the most gentle, good-natured pets, if you keep them in the tank by themselves and you don't interact with them and you kind of treat them like a fish, they won't have the personality that you expect a bearded dragon to have, because they need that interaction to help them. If you do not have decorative rocks, you should trim your bearded dragon's nails every couple of weeks. I know it's kind of scary, but once I started doing it, it became a lot easier. That's why you should have a first vet checkup, because they can show you how to do all that stuff, which is where I learned mine. And I am very lucky to have a friend who knows a lot about bearded dragons who also taught me how to do it. And then lastly, I really believe you should read up and familiarize yourselves with the basic body language that bearded dragons have. It's really important to know the difference between if your bearded dragon is just being lazy versus if it's going to be lethargic, because lazy bearded dragons are okay. Lethargic bearded dragons, it could mean that they're seriously ill. And then also you need to know like if your bearded dragon's pissed off because you scared them or something happened or they're hurt and stuff. And going back to what I said before with the socializing, if you socialize with your bearded dragon, you will definitely tell the difference between you spooked your bearded dragon or they're just mad or if they're hurt. And you'll also tell the difference too with glass surfing, because they will glass surf. The glass surfing is like, hey, let me out, I want to run around, or oh my god, it's too freaking hot in here, you need to do something with my lights. By you socializing with them and knowing their body language, it will really help you become a better pet parent and a better carer for your dragon. That is all I have. I do have one recommendation. It is what I got last year for Christmas. My parents got me this book, and it is the Bearded Dragon Manual. It tells you everything you need to know and then some about bearded dragons, so I really do recommend this book. It's awesome. If you want, you can go check that out. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I hope it helped you, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, if I missed anything, or you just want to say hey, leave a comment down below. I do respond to them. And if you like listening to my rambling or you just want to see more of me, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!